we're live, and it's just that easy.
That's
Well,
it.
guys, you're live on YouTube.
Yes.
Hi, YouTube.
Keep Rock alive and wherever else.
Awesome.
We've got Suzanne and Sly Rye of the Metal Byrds from Austin, Texas, with us.
Austin.
I actually I had applause queued up to click play, and I deleted and I X'd it out before I forgot. So no applause.
So we don't get applause?
You get a smattering. Due to COVID-19 restrictions in New York State, I can't have anyone else in my basically what is a large closet with me. I can't socially distance. I deleted it and I X'd it out before I forgot. So, all right. You guys.
We're still here.
No, I hit the wrong window. It was, if it fed back, that was the other window feeding back through.
Okay.
All right. So I remember, what was it, last year? I found you guys, tripped. I don't even know what to call it sometimes, tripped over you. I don't remember how I hooked up, but I posted a song for you. What was it, last December, November, about a year ago, right?
Yes.
That's
Wow.
awesome. Yeah.
It's been that long? Wow.
Yeah.
Everything's just a blur. I have plenty of excuses. I'm old. That's one. I'm fried. But I remember I posted the song, and a month or two later, that's when all the shit hit the fan. But
Yeah.
I remember, and this is one thing I know, I had to make little notes that I remember about you, Suzanne, and what it was reminds me of Blondie, but more powerful, meaning Debbie Harry.
Wow.
That's what I heard in your voice.
To be compared to Debbie Harry in any way is great.
Yeah. And then it started to, we'll get into it because I know you're from the UK, and I'm like, yeah. And then talking to you now, and what I asked you a few minutes ago, but I won't talk about it yet. But yeah, you've got, I don't know, you sound like Debbie to me, and I hate to compare, but that's what hit me, and with power.
Wow, thanks.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, anytime anybody like says anything about my voice, it's still kind of weird for me because I like, I don't try to sound like anybody. So I just sing, and that's how I sing. So if you like it, thank you so much. But
Yeah,
whatever comes out of my mouth comes out. That's it.
But as I listen more to the band, I'll just go over this real quick. Your guitar playing, you shred.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Because I'm not gonna lie, a lot of times I don't go deep enough. I'll listen to the one song, and then I don't go right away into the collection, and then I go in the collection, and I'm that's a lot deeper than I at first heard. And then as time went on, and then I believe the second song that I heard was somewhere early in the year, but you guys all of a sudden were starting to get some accolades, and and I remember you tagging me into stuff, and that's when it really got in front of me. And I know you've done pretty damn good this year.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah,
it's been a crazy route. We can't believe, you opened the door, and a few others, where we can't believe that every tune we've put out still getting played. And we were just told by somebody, submit it to Indie World and see what happens. And we're amazed that people, and then tell us they like it.
Awesome.
It's great to hear. So I wish I would have put better solos and everything, but.
Everybody does that. But what's great to hear is that, whatever little kick that you guys got, if it worked, that's the whole idea, is getting you guys, in front of New Year's.
Yeah.
God, because I'll admit it, you probably see me go on my buy or try monthly rants where I say, what the blank is going on here? Is anyone going to start listening to this music with what up here? And I do it. I don't care. I hate when good music slips through the cracks. And, I mean, I was very happy to see how you guys are starting that. You're getting some due, and that's just cool to see.
Thanks. It's still kind of weird to hear like people like you are like, oh yeah, we actually dig your music. That's awesome, because that's what we're in it for. It's for people to actually enjoy music, not just, make music just to make it for us. It's for other people to actually enjoy. So it's awesome to hear that from anybody.
And it's double-edged. It's to keep rock alive. You know, when she first showed up with a buddy of mine, and we were playing, and I was in a band before I even knew Suzanne, and he said, oh, this girl can sing. And when she showed up, there was like, I'm no way we're jamming with her. And she said, well, I can sing Sweet Child of Mine, all the Axl parts. And then we made her do Rocket Queen, and she did all the Axl parts. It's like, okay, you're now in the band.
Right.
I know. I think he looked at me like when I first walked in the doors, and he was like, who is this? I'm just like a quietish girl. And he was like, he's the loud one. If you didn't.
She's loud. She's loud.
So when I walked through the door, and I was like, like, okay, what's this going to be about? And then I started singing, and then the look on his face was like,
the Georgia.
Everybody that was there, all the where do we go now, all those really high parts, right? Those are tough for anybody to sing. That's good stuff.
Now let's go back to the start then. I mean, where you two? I know there's two more members of the band. You got Alex on drums.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Kevin on bass.
Yep.
They can't be here, but I want to at least mention them. But where are you guys now? You guys are kind of originally from pretty far apart. Am I correct?
Oh yeah.
So, ladies first. Your story first, Suzanne.
Well, I was born in London, and I came here at 15 or 16 years old to America. And I was in Baltimore. I grew up in Baltimore. And the reason why I don't have the accent like you asked me is because I had a really thick Cockney accent, and kids are mean.
Oh.
Kids are very, very mean. And I actually had to practice to talk like this.
Why do you want to talk like us?
Well, because my accent was so thick, and everybody, all the kids at school were like, what language are you speaking? You don't sound like you're from England. And it's like, I'm English. And the weird part was that they wanted to put me in ESL, which is English as a second language classes. And I'm like, I'm from England. I'm speaking English.
Speak English, real proper English.
Proper English.
Not what we've done to it.
Because I was foreign. So I guess they assumed that I was and I'm like, I'm from England, and I had to argue with the principal. I remember that. So, it was a tough time when I first came to America, and I actually had to practice how to, roll my R's, and it sounds completely.
I don't even know how to roll my R's.
No kidding.
I'm telling you, it sounds completely stupid, but it actually was a terrifying time in my life. But I got the accent pretty much down, right? I mean, you can't really.
No. That's why I was blown away. I'm thinking, is she messing with me? Well, maybe they moved over here when she was 2.
No.
Well, you know what? I apologize for all the jerks.
Oh,
over here.
Trust me, I got my revenge on them, eventually. So
you can tell us about that later.
They bullied me, and then I don't want to say that I became the bully, but just
kick their ass. Just
yeah.
say it.
Yeah.
Good. Perfect. Game over.
And then it took me a long time to actually, get to Texas. I only came to Texas about 6 years ago now. So then 4 years ago, I met Rye. So it was the most roundabout way. I never thought I was going to be in a band or I just always enjoyed singing. I always just sang. I sang in church. I sang, as a kid. I just always enjoyed singing. And when he was like, hey, we need to form a band. And I'm thinking, what is this jerk talking about?
But how did you meet Rye? And I mean, if you were in Baltimore, how did you guys originally meet?
Well, when I came to Texas, I came to Texas for work, and I met some cool people there. And one guy was like, "Hey, I know, you like rock and roll." And I'm like, "Yeah, I love rock and roll." So he was like, "Yeah, I know this band, they just hang out, and you want to come over one day?" And I was bored, I didn't really know anybody. I was bored one night after work. I was like, "Yeah, we can go hang out and drink some beers and just hang out and party." And we went over to his house, and I'm like, "Where are we? Are you like taking me out to this desolate place to murder me? I didn't
Do
know
you
what
ever
was
see
going
the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
on." Exactly, because he lives like on like a farm, right? With like
It's
a
a
barn.
ranch. It's a ranch.
It's a farm, right? In the background, you hear chickens and
Oh
horses,
yeah.
and I'm just like, I'm from London and Baltimore, and I don't know anything about this kind of life. And then, so
Where's
I'm
the
like,
grass? Where's it?
I'm like, where are we? So, and then, I hear them playing inside, and I'm just like, okay, this is cool. This is cool. And he introduced me to Ryan. He blew me off. It was like, okay, yes, hi, how are
It's
you?
not true.
That's
Typical lead guitarist.
totally
Who are you?
true. Totally.
It's funny how they twist the story, right?
Absolutely. I'm the truth teller. So he was like, yeah, hi, right? Just blew me off. And then like they were playing like some songs, and I just started, right? The guy I was with, he was like, "Hey, she can sing." And he was like, "Yeah, whatever. Typical guitar player, whatever." And
So was Brian and Paul and everybody else. So
yeah.
it's not.
I just remember his face. That's it. And that's it. That's how we met. And we hit it off that night. Like after that, we started talking, and we completely hit it off as friends. And it was like, yeah, okay, we can do something here. That's how we met.
Okay, so now I got Suzanne's version. So now we're going to start with your first, early history, right up to where she said he blew me off, and we'll hear your version.
All right. It's a ranch, not a farm. And yes, there's chickens. We have a lot of we've got peach trees, and we have lemons and limes and pomegranates. Yeah, there are animals, but it's not a farm. It's a ranch. But I was born up north, up in Detroit years and years and years ago. But I've been here for a long, long time. And when she came over, we weren't against having her sing, because that's what we wanted to see, because we kept, she can sing, she can sing. And then when she did, I'm telling you, she nailed the Guns N' Roses. Anything classic rock, we threw at her. Can you do Pat Benatar? Can you do this? And she's like, I'll try. And the other thing about her accent, give her enough beers, and she makes this transition from y'all to she makes this transition into it's like you lot. Right?
Oh, we gotta have a midnight version of this Zoom meeting thing when you guys are in the same place. We're gonna have This Is Rock after hours.
Yes.
That would be actually cool. Yeah,
that would be funny. Those we might not want to save right to YouTube.
Right.
No,
right.
Those will
we
go
need
live.
to edit them first. But what was I going to say? Detroit to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Suzanne.
Yeah.
Tell us. Well, we'll start with you. Your love for the music, or what made you, let's say, a rock fan, and when did you discover you wanted to sing or love to sing, whatever?
Well, I just always remember, like, my dad would, like, when I was a child, my dad would sing to me, the Beatles and Simon and Garfunkel. He was really into Simon and Garfunkel for some reason. I couldn't listen to that album until I was like 15 or 16 years old, actually, because he played it over and over and over again. And I just remember there was always music in the house. And I would, as a little girl, I'm the only child, so I would just sing along with my dad. And I was in my mom's church and singing on the choir, and I never really thought much about like, oh, I can sing really good. I never thought that. In fact, when I met Ryan, I told him, I was like, you know, I'm not the world's best singer. I'm like, what did I say? Mediocre at best. And he was like,
Now, was that the first? Is this the first band you're in?
yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so
like official, like doing our own stuff. I've sang with other people before. I performed like in Baltimore, you know, just doing covers and stuff. But it wasn't for like large crowds or anything. We just, you know,
so
were fooling around. Yeah.
actually moving forward with it. So
Yeah. We weren't even trying to move forward. It was like moving forward. We didn't, you know, have our own like melodies and, you know, songs. So we just did covers. And then when I met Ryan and we started off doing covers, and then I think one day we were bored, right? We
Yeah.
were sitting around and we were bored, and I was like, what else do you have? Because I knew he was telling me stories about he was in bands before, and he started playing me some of his original songs, and I was like, oh my gosh, we could actually do something with this stuff, you know, like stuff that he'd never finished,
mhm.
like just melodies he had rolling around in that big brain of his. And I was like, you know, we could put pen to paper and hey, let's actually do something. You know, the idea, it was like I was blown away by his stuff. And one of the first songs we wrote was Tell Me. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
Oh, wait a minute. There's got to be more to this, but I don't
yeah.
know. If I want. Okay.
There is. It was a country tune, and I said, I don't want it to be country.
Mm-mm.
So it took forever, and that's why we did Tell Me the way we did now, because
Yeah.
it started out as a country tune. I wanted to give to another
Don't know
band,
why.
and
Don't know why it started out as a country tune, but yeah, that was one of the first songs we wrote together. It was no way, shape, the form that it is, you know, the song that it is now. We took, you know, a couple years to develop it, and it's great now. But we have that, and Magic was the first two songs we wrote, right?
The Dark Highway.
Dark Highway, really?
Yeah, that went to Keep Rock Alive.
Yeah. That's right.
That was the first song. Right. That
Dark
was the
Highway.
that I
Yeah.
that I posted. Yeah. Now, how long's the band been together?
Since
The end of
2007,
the end of
17.
18.
The end of 18. No.
Yeah, or the summer of 18, because that
Well,
was
I
the
met
party
you.
year.
I
We got the
met
pool
you in
table over at the
2000.
band house, and we got the ping pong table. So that
That's
was
right.
that was the summer of 18, because all
Okay.
we did was party. It's like a bar over there at the Jam House.
Mhm. I met him in 16. We didn't like start anything until start singing together until 17, and then we actually formed the Metal Byrds in 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Together just a couple of years.
Yeah, just
No,
a couple years.
Short amount of time too.
Yeah, it's a
Now,
short amount of time.
I got a feeling you got a little rougher road to rock and roll. What's your rock and roll story? You're from Detroit, so let's. How did you discover this for yourself? End up playing, and you know.
My parents and my older brothers and my uncles all pushed Abbey Road, Hendrix, Aerosmith. All of that was pushed on me from the littlest kid I was to now. That's all I can listen. All my playing is hair metal and classic rock.
I can hear
I
it.
couldn't get away from it. In the 90s, I was still wanting to be Yngwie. Right? In the 2000s, I wanted to re-release Guns N' Roses. I can't, the Van Halen and all that classic rock stuck in my brain. It's never left.
You never had a chance.
No.
That it's burned in you.
Yes.
But
And having records, do you remember records? Having all those
Yeah.
records in the house of mom and dad's was amazing, because they had the Everly Brothers and they, of course, Buddy Holly. It's Texas, but having all these records and the brothers and the Metallica and all of that, it just,
I'm probably
that time period stuck in my skull.
Yeah, my father was he's what inevitably steered me to be a rock and roll fan, is with the Beatles. And
Yes.
he grew up through the 50s, so he was into the oldies, which was the doo-wop and, you know, the Buddy Holly and Bill Haley, all that kind of stuff, but mostly doo-wop. But I mean, when I first heard Sgt. Pepper's, that's where I say the fuse was lit for me. But very similar. Like I said, I'm probably way older than you guys.
Wow. But it was Sgt. Pepper's. Yeah, the Beatles were amazing, because an older aunt and uncle had all the mono or hi-fi Beatles records.
Yeah.
And once we knew what records were, we would go to their house just to play with the stereo to hear the difference.
Console stereo.
Yeah, with the records said hi-fi or
It
something.
would say hi-fi, high infidelity, would say stereo.
Yeah.
Stereo, it's like, even back then, like if you turned on the TV, even some of the TV stations would say in living color, because color was like, just starting to take off.
Okay, that's way before my time.
Yeah, I'm old enough to remember all that. Oh, I mean, I remember watching black and white when it was black and white.
Wow.
Right on the edge.
I
But
can't even imagine that.
we had
Kiss tickets. We saw Kiss in Detroit. The whole band went, and we had them for Austin, but they canceled the show because of pandemic. But David Lee Roth was going to open for him here in Austin, so we don't know if that's going to happen next year.
Yeah, so they pushed it back to next year. So we're still hoping that David Lee Roth opens for them, because I cannot wait. I was so looking forward to seeing that show this year. I was so disappointed.
Now, you guys, I mean, I know a few acts from some bands and some artists from down there, and I mean the rock scene down there is pretty friggin' strong, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yes, but not lately. Not since let's say February.
And I don't even like. I hesitate to bring it up because you hope next year, everybody comes back, but nobody knows.
Yeah.
But I mean, you guys were playing and gigging regularly, and
well, then I got a chance to go to England to stomp, because Suzanne said, here's some contacts, go investigate them. So I went and talked about maybe setting up we have an agent that said they could get us into some gigs. And as soon as I came back, pandemic started. So all of those became a wash as well.
I don't like comparing the scene, but right now the scene in the UK and
it's huge. It's much bigger than America. The scene in England is, and I think that's the majority of where we get played is in England, and they love us. They eat us up over there.
But they've got it from every angle. I mean, the fans, the venues, there's truly a media and support system, and the amount of festivals they were going to have this year, it was crazy.
We were supposed to be involved in one in Wales, right? Wales, and then the Midlands in England, but it just fell apart. Everything fell apart. It sucks. It really sucks. We hope that it's gonna pick back up, but you have no idea. It sucks because some people are running out of money.
It's true. Well, it's like any other business. If you're closed down for a year, I don't, even with help.
We wanted to get to New York so we could get on Keep Rock Alive live, and that still can't happen. You know what I mean?
I talked about it last year. I was working with a buddy of mine, a partner, and how could I simplify it? They were opening up an athletic center, which was basically outdoor fields for high school teams of just about every sort. And it was a friend of a friend thing. And long story short is my buddy, who had no idea what he was getting into, got the food concession and wanted to open up like a snack bar kind of thing, refreshments, maybe a little sports shop or something. And there's an old abandoned warehouse, very modern, actually, brick. And I tossed the idea many times about opening, because we've lost it here, at least in the Hudson Valley, which I'm about an hour and 15 minutes north of New York City. And there used to be loads of clubs there, and again, all gone. But long story short, opening some kind of a club. So it wasn't going to cost us anything. We were into permits, and this was in December and January. Permits, design. I already had a place where we were going to was designing the stage, lighting, whatever. And I was actually just ordering the cooking hood and fan exhaust system, and boom, it hit. And it went from full blast to holy shit, thank God, stop now. Let's see what, and because if we would have invested all that money, we literally would have opened a place that serves food and offers live music to an environment that doesn't allow it. You know,
Yeah. Well, it's a good
would
thing
have
that
opened.
it's a good thing that you stopped right before it started. You would have lost a lot of money.
We barely spent anything. It was just basics, and permits had been
Mhm.
filed and approved, and it just stopped. But you know, now you're scared. Can't even
Yeah.
next year. But I mean, yes, I had all kinds of plans of bringing people in, and the one young girl that I promote, and I had it all. But right now, New York City, you're talking about just New York City in general. Broadway's closed, movie theaters are closed. Anything to do with entertainment, music, comedy, you name it, the arts, other than the museums, closed. And restaurants are still only operating at 25% if they meet the requirements. So there's literally nowhere to play since this started in New Jersey, New York, Long Island, Connecticut, and I even think, Pennsylvania. So
Yeah.
it's
It's a little different in Texas just because the governor here is so what's the word?
Open to food business. He's let
Yeah.
they've lowered the capacity because people are getting sick here again, but
But
there's still
everything,
places.
you would swear everything is open, like nothing is going on here, but except for the, downtown Austin, everything is still kind of closed. But it's like, why do you want to go and perform in front of 25 people
Or less.
or less,
We've
right?
got some buddies that have had some gigs and it's been less.
Right, 10
Like, no,
people that you're performing
there's no
in front
draw.
of? Yeah, there's no draw.
And it might even cost the venue more to be there paying people, and you're not even making enough at the door of the bar.
Right.
It's a shame because you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Right.
You don't want to pass up a gig, but then, like you said, who wants to play to 10 people?
Right.
What do you do?
Well, then I have to open my mouth and breathe in everybody's breath, and I don't want to get sick, and I don't want to get my mom sick, and everybody else who I'm involved with. I don't want to get, because I'm the one that's taking the most risk. They can all be in the background of me. I'm the one that has to open my mouth to sing and breathe, and
and it's always open and it's always loud. She just sing and it's loud. It's just loud.
Wow. Okay, I'm loud. Okay.
I know, as he's I can say nothing. Him and I would get along great because I'm the same way. While I'm yelling at someone else about being too loud. We're being too loud.
You always picks on me for being too loud and too talky. So.
But the next question I was going to ask is, well, I guess the songwriting is you, right?
Until she takes a look at it, and then it turns into this is now a collaboration.
Yeah, he starts the songs and then I fix them,
polish them.
Yeah,
polish.
Thank
you.
That's a great word. I polish them because ultimately I'm the one that has to sing it, so I have to get the cadence down for where my mouth can sing it, not his.
Yeah, because anybody can play guitar.
That was awesome.
That's bullshit.
Boom.
I've tried for years. I reached a certain level and I just peaked, or I leveled off. And that was it. Enough to not be completely embarrassed. But let's see what else. So I mean, 2020 is obviously throwing a wrench in the works.
Yeah.
Your music has done well all summer, right through now, and I still continue to see you guys posting more just positive press and support.
Mm-hmm. The one thing that 2020 has actually been great for is it's given us time to slow down and actually write songs. Like we've been instead of playing out and just doing, whatever we were doing, it's given us time to say, okay, you know what, let's sit down and write some really good songs because we actually have the time to do it now and not worry about this and that and that and that. So we hope that, our songwriting has gotten better, our playing has gotten better. his playing and their playing has gotten better because we've been at home, you know, other than work, like there's nothing else to do. There's nowhere to go. There's, you know, so hopefully, you know, everybody, not just us, everybody has taken the time to actually sit down and write songs. So it's been an advantage for that.
Yeah, reboot and reset. It gives you everything, clear out your minds and, you know, really sharpen yourselves up. And like you said, sometimes when you don't feel any, there's no pressure right now. Who knows?
Yeah.
Everyone's different, but who knows what's going to come out next?
Exactly. Because it could continue, right? And if bands can't perform, what else are they going to do? They should be writing songs.
Right. And, you know, I think, you know, social media is great. And, you know, you see everybody doing these live streams, but I think now there's just so many of them, it's starting to backfire. So
Yes.
instead of,
Yeah, we were wondering about that. That's a great point you bring up. This seems to have backfired and lowered the amount of people showing up.
well,
Yeah.
you know, and I understand bands are trying to keep some kind of a cash flow going, but there's only so much money to be, you know, to toss around. And right now the difference is, you know, I've heard people say that, you know, well, if they're not going to the concerts and stuff, well, you know, yeah, but right now everyone's in the same position with this thing, with the pandemic, that, you know, they might be out of work. They don't know what's going on. Nobody knows what's coming tomorrow. So you got to just protect yourselves and protect your own money. And
Yeah. So, you know, the best way to protect yourselves is to, when this is all over, to make sure you have material that you can let out immediately, because people do want to get back to normal. So what are you going to have when they do want to get back to normal? You're not going to have anything. It's crazy to me that people aren't taking the time to.
there's going to be, you know, and this is something else that everybody's talking about, that there might be a resurgence of people have been locked up and held down for so long that there's more of a want for a rock and roll attitude again, just explode.
I hope so. I really hope so.
Back with the same old pop songs. Now they want to come back with more of a vengeance. And if you got the music, you know, to meet them at that moment, you'll be the ones taking off with them. Hopefully there's a little bit of a shift in just attitude among everybody. I'm talking about fans. And that's what I meant also before about people protecting themselves and not just throwing money around. Because in the middle of all this too, we got the Save Our Stages thing, and but everyone's hurting equally. So, you know, the guys that normally might go, me too. I'm worried.
Yeah.
And you know, that if I was to go to a concert, maybe I'm going to hold on to the money now because nobody knows what's coming next. So just the regular fan and people that go to work every day, or you just don't know.
Yeah, that's very true.
Hopefully, you know, for everyone, that sometime we start to see a little light at the end of the tunnel, you know, early into 2021. Yeah,
I hope so.
you got to be realistic. But in the meantime, all bands, you know, a few of them I think got a little spooked, but now, you know, start looking to come back. You know, spend some time, get together again safely, whatever you got to do, exchange ideas, write music. What's the worst?
That's our. Oh, I'm sorry. That's our coming week. We've got our next rehearsal is actually at Suzanne's studio at her house that she set up. That's what she did during pandemic. She set up a studio.
I set up a studio so that we can record when we want to, on our time, on our leisure. You know, like when we when we finish a song, you know, they can all come over and we can practice and record, because we want to have songs, you know, to put out during this time. And you never know, like you said, it could enter into next year, you know, this whole thing. And you have to constantly be fresh and be new and be pushing forward. So why not set up a studio? I had the room, so why not?
Beautiful.
Pizza and beer. Pizza and beer.
Yeah, you got a cooler in there, and well,
I got a mini fridge, so it's full of beer right now. So
you got another one. You get the one big enough for the keg and put the tap through the.
Yeah.
I would love to have a kegerator, but
anything.
I think there'll be a bunch of drunk men in my house instead of actual musicians.
That's what you need, and you also need air mattresses. Here, bye, good night.
Have you been down to Texas ever?
Me? No.
No,
I haven't.
never.
I rarely escape the Northeast other than just above the border into Montreal a couple of times and then Florida. But it's weird. I've never escaped. I have a lot of plans, places I'd like to go, and I never leave.
Have you ever been down to Baltimore or DC?
Through it. My kids have been, but
Yeah.
me never. I'm always the guy that says, yeah, you got to go. I don't know. It never lines up.
Well, whenever you're ready to come to Texas, you're welcome to come.
Yes. There's fresh citrus even now on the trees.
I know.
Yeah,
lemons, limes.
It's orangeade on the tree. Appleade. All we have are apples up here. Nothing else.
Well, just so you know, it's 80 degrees and I'm sweating right now in my house because
whatever. I tell everybody down there, but whatever. I hope you.
He told me that in a DM, yeah. And I've got the windows open right now.
We're looking down the throat. I say it every year. Never again. I'm out of here. I'm leaving next year.
But you know,
like everything else.
Coming from Baltimore, I do miss the snow. That's one thing I don't miss shoveling it. I don't miss driving in it, but I do miss after it snows, like the calm and the peace, right? Because he's from Detroit. He's from up north, so he knows. That's one thing I completely miss. I miss snow.
I visit in the summer. I don't want to see snow.
I like snow.
I don't like it when it's 40.
Oh my gosh, you're such a baby.
Snow Christmas Eve and melted the day after Christmas.
Yeah,
and that's it.
It's always nice when it snowed on Christmas, right? You get nice white Christmas. Yeah,
that's it. You know, they show you in the movies, which never happens.
Never.
So basically, I mean, I was going to ask you about music on its way, but that's the plan. You're working on music at no set rate.
Nope. No set rate.
So just if this continues, basically shoot them out one at a time. No anything like that, just singles.
I think from now on we're just gonna do like singles until sometimes they form into EPs. I think that's probably the best way to do it. Just keep putting singles out there until it's like, okay, this is a good album, or this is a good EP. Let's form it into an EP and then re-release everything as so that people can buy it as an EP. But the singles thing has worked for us because we've just been constantly shooting singles out there and it's been working. It's a good formula.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
No. But have you guys, your fans, are they buying streaming, or are they buying physical copies of the music? Yeah, they've been pretty good at when we release something to buy it. It's been a steady stream. So that's why we've been steadily just releasing singles, because every time something comes out, we've had, people who are always the first to buy, in the first day or two. So it's been great for us that way. Perfect. Because I mean, people ask, or if we're trying to steer people, we always say, if you can, go to their website, whatever web store, and buy directly from the band. That's if you're trying to help and you want to make sure that they get the money. Yeah. Buy the music from them, T-shirt, whatever, something.
Yeah, we're working on merch, but yeah, because everything that we make goes back into the band. I'm like in control of all the money. So whatever we make goes right back into us, whether it be buying equipment or, like everything that was for the studio, I bought because of our fans buying music. So any little thing helps, even if you can only buy like a single for $1.50, it's still $1.50 that goes to us and we can use, because it's expensive.
It's really expensive.
Yeah, because I understand, because I love going to the music store here. It's called Alta Music. I love going in there and browsing. Rarely I come out with strings and some picks.
Yeah.
Anything else that I want to buy, I can't afford it. But I do want to point something out. I noticed, right?
Yeah.
I know who the boss is. It's clearly obvious who runs this show.
Yeah.
Studios at her house. She takes care of merch, money, polishing the songs. You better be careful. You got a contract, you better get one, because you might.
Actually, we do actually, and that was her idea. That was her
Oh,
idea.
really? She wrote the contracts? Oh, you're done.
Oh, it's a
Remember
super
that band you used to be in, the Metal Byrds?
You're making me feel bad.
But we
Well,
do
like-
have we have the barn here, and we've been known to rehearse in the barn or at the other house. So, and we have the pool table, the ping pong table, and that's fully loaded fridges with beer. So
he sees your wall of cables and he raises you a fridge full of beer.
Yeah, that's true. You know, the studio is just like brand new. It's only been I set it up like 2 months ago, a month ago. So that's new. So, because before I didn't want anyone at my house. I'm like, these gross guys.
Drinking, loud music.
Loud music, piss off my neighbors. But it's it's good because what did you call it? A ranch? His ranch?
yeah, whatever. Okay.
A farm.
His ranch, we could be as loud as we want on it because there's nobody around. We can, go all night over there, which is great.
You've got to come down when we have a barbecue. You've got to. It'd be so much fun.
One of my weaknesses.
Texas barbecue.
Brisket.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Another one of the things that didn't survive up here, which I don't understand. That's Italian food and real barbecue, not, up here. Doesn't exist. But Texas is one of those states that I'd love to see. Again, I never get out of New York.
Oh, well, we're going to have to get you out of New York.
I'll get out. When this is over.
Yeah. When it's over, you got to get out of New York.
Tour in Texas. Probably got to go to California.
Oh yeah.
Midwest.
Oh yeah.
See Hawaii too, but whatever.
Oh, I go to Hawaii every year. I love it there. If I could
Not
move
this
there,
year.
except for this year. I was so sad not to be able to go. But I go every year and I love it. I love it. It's just so peaceful. I love it. Mm-hmm.
Even it started at 12:01 this morning over here. Pennsylvania is the next state to our west. We're in the United States of America. You can't enter that state if you've been out of it, or back into New York State if you've been out of either state for longer than 24 hours without a negative COVID.
Crazy.
I mean, I'm not getting into that, but I get it. But I thought we lived in the United States of America.
Right.
I'm not saying they're wrong. I understand what they're trying to do, but wow.
Yeah.
I can't imagine I can't wrap my head around driving to a border of a state and
not being able to go in, right?
And you have your papers? But that's where we are now. And I mean, we all see what's going on.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah.
I hope it's not happening the way it looks like it's happening, but it seems to be happening. It's starting to get crazy again.
Yeah.
But we got to weather it, and that's it. And that's why, you guys got a great attitude. Just take, life gives you lemons, make lemonades, or, gives you.
Exactly. And put a lot of sugar in it too.
In this case, if you're given a lot of time, write music.
Exactly.
Yes. You have the best tagline. It's keep rock alive. People like it. The Grammys and the record industry won't tell you, but go anywhere on earth or go anywhere in this country and people are listening to rock music.
Yeah.
Well, you know what it is, and this again, I say that you can fill like hours of this discussion with really what dictates what you see in those the Grammys, Billboard Awards, VMAs, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, for that.
Yeah.
They're even being pushed out of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But what it is, the demographic of, let's say, the 13-year-old to 25-year-old, that's what dictates, mainstream music.
I know. Me and Rai just had this huge discussion about because the Grammy nominations came out yesterday, was it? Or the day before? Day before, right. And we actually were for our Birds on a Wire record, we were considered. We had a consideration for Grammy for Best New Artist. And it just sucks that the record companies and the music industry has killed rock and roll. And they've done it purposefully. And in my opinion, they've done it on purpose. I don't know why, but it's dead for them, for the music industry. It's completely dead, and it sucks because who else is going to pick up a guitar? You know, all these kids growing up, all they listen to is pop music and rap. And it's like, okay, where are the guitars? Where are the basses? Where are the drums other than a drum machine? Like, pick up an instrument.
Well, we've talked about this too, and I'm glad to hear it from now artists. I just interviewed a fan before. I interviewed a guitarist this afternoon who teaches. It's been 3 different viewpoints, and your viewpoint is also absolutely valid. But I think the one thing that everybody's agreed on is, let's say these kids who are now, born in a time where you wanted to play guitar, you were handed a guitar, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to listen to music. You wanted to listen to music. We either bought a record or a CD or a cassette or whatever. They're handed an iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So simply it's become lazy, and now it's eliminated the instruments that the music that they're hearing, they can create at home on their phone or laptop or tablet, and even release that music that night.
Yeah.
On YouTube or whatever. And it's done. And that's what's ruined not just rock and roll, but it's flooded the, let's say the market, the music industry with so much junk that
we were just having this discussion about oversaturation with another person we were doing an interview with earlier this week, because she asked, the computer age has made it easier for artists to release their music to the public, but it's also created this vortex of people who think that they're artists, who release music, who have never ever picked up an instrument, or who have never actually created a real song of their own, because they just use samples and this and that. And it's like, okay, everybody's an artist, everybody's a rapper or a pop singer, or it's oversaturation of one-hit wonders all trying to get their name out there, and you got to stand out even more out of the crowd, to be noticed.
Right. And go ahead.
It's unfortunate. It's just unfortunate. It's just an unfortunate.
And the problem is you have a willing audience who's willing to buy into it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, and not just the being able to create, let's say, the music, but even vocally, you have auto-tune now.
Mm-hmm.
So now, to me, the analogy would be that's like saying I'm a painter who paints by numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have people that are willing to buy it.
Exactly.
How do you defeat that? But I do real paintings. Yeah, but I like this one better. But it's not real. I don't care.
But it's not real. Right. It's not real, but to the general public who just enjoys music, they don't know the difference, Mm-hmm. So that's also a bad part of it, because you have, information isn't always makes you intelligent, right? So you have a flood of information and people can't tell real from fake anymore. And you get all these people who, you see them once and then you don't ever see them again. Where did they go?
It's another thing. I don't know. I'm disposable.
Yeah, disposable.
The song now is, it's like anything else. I think the number being thrown around is 2 weeks. You better make it stick and get what you can out of it, because it's gone. And that's again, something. You guys, again, everybody's different. I think recording albums now, unless you're signed or you reached a certain level, I wouldn't ever suggest to anyone right now, especially if you're starting up or just trying to build some kind of a fan base and a following. I would never suggest investing the money into an album.
Yeah.
Because it could just be lost.
Yeah.
And even though it really goes anywhere, it just.
Yeah. Even, like the big names, you see them for a year and then where do they go? You don't see them. Like, Greta Van Fleet, they won the best rock album last year. Where are they now? They weren't even in the nominations. It sucks. And they're a real band.
A real band with bass, drums, guitar, and a singer. And
Yeah.
nobody came close to that this year for a
Yeah.
nomination.
There's no real bands in there except for the Strokes, I think.
Yeah.
There's not a single real band in any of the rock categories, and I was completely disgusted, actually. I was completely, me and Ryan had an hour-long conversation about that.
Somebody said yesterday about they're redefining the rock category, and I said, no, they're not. I said they're stripping rock of its identity. There's a difference. Anybody can blur the lines and bend, you know, what.
Yeah.
But what's happened now is rock, and I have this complaint about. I love Bandcamp for what they do. My only complaint is you got to be careful because you know when I was looking for music, you know, last year, and I still go through there and look.
Yeah.
I don't go as much as if you have to sift. Because if you go, let's say, the hard rock category, garage rock category, whatever, you might have to go through 10, 20, 30 songs to actually find a true, genuine rock song. So
Yes.
I like, do they actually have someone that monitors it? Obviously, I guess they don't. It must be up to the band to label.
No, because the band, like you said, the band actually, like we can actually tag what categories, what genres we think that we're in. So, and they tell you when you join Bandcamp, the more categories you tag is the more you might get heard. So you know, like say our song, Dark Highway, for example, you know, it might be rock. I might tag it as hard rock. I might tag it as classic rock. I might tag it as pop even, you know? So when somebody goes to their pop menu and they see Dark Highway and they're like, this isn't pop, but I do whatever I can personally to get it out there. So that's what everybody's doing. And no, it's not monitored.
Oh, yeah,
It's not.
because what's happening is we're getting music from the other genres, even pop, rap, hip hop that are being put in the rock categories.
Yeah.
And what
I've
happens,
seen that too. I've seen that.
one of my biggest battles that I have, and I think again, if you watch sometimes when I have my little episodes on Keep Rock Alive about people and you know jumping to conclusions and saying
Yeah.
we're good music, you know, sometimes like I wouldn't send someone to Bandcamp on their own who's let's say not heard any new rock and say
Mhm.
go over and just click whatever and listen. They're going to be very misled.
Yeah.
So I just try to what we're doing is like I found found you guys, play the music. I don't critique it. I have my, you know, my personal critique and I'll listen to it and, you know.
And we're grateful you played it. That's
Yeah.
But I don't, it wouldn't matter whether I loved it or I really don't like it. If it's a rock song, this is the way I do it now. And this is just across the board. Because if I did that, I would just be playing music that I personally like.
Yeah.
It's just stupid or like my own personal playlist. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It gets us nowhere as long as it doesn't suck. Okay, and that's how I do it, and that's the simplest.
And that's an awesome way to do it.
Yeah, and it's rock and roll, meaning rock, metal. You know, our family of music. They go
Yes.
because if it's not my cup of tea, it's like again, it's like ice cream. If I don't like whatever blah 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 flavor. Doesn't mean somebody else doesn't like it, but it's still rock and roll. It's still ice cream.
Exactly.
Allergies, by the way, if you haven't.
Oh
known.
no, we completely agree with you because there's some. I'm not going to name names or anything like that, but there's some DJs who play what they like, and it's the same songs over and over again, and it's like,
And that's okay.
yeah, it's okay, but it's like, okay, I want to hear something.
They already do that in the corporate world, is their point, though. They already do that with the same artist.
Well, that's because
songs.
the way they do it is it's a very simple formula. You sit around a table and you use the algorithms and research. Okay, we have to sell X amount of advertising. We need to guarantee our customers X amount of listeners per hour. What songs are they going to listen to?
Mm-hmm.
Same songs like the local classic rock station over here. I bust their chops all the time on Facebook. They'll say something. I'll say, so what are you saying? You can expand the playlist to 21 songs now? And I do it all the time because that's really what it is. It's just literally when you hear the same song twice in an hour, that's where music is going.
Yeah.
They don't care. They don't care.
No.
I say this too. I said, remember this. And I say this to the bands. I say it to you. In the industry, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Same thing with the Super Bowl and all that. And so nobody cares. It's who's gonna bring us the most amount of viewers or listeners,
Yeah.
so we can sell our product, which is advertising.
Yeah, in the last 20 years, you're right. It's getting worse and worse and worse about they just want to make money, and that's all they're interested in is not money. It's not art. It's not about what they say they care about, but it's just about the money.
Yep.
That's
And
it.
you're old enough to read, you'll know, back when the mainstream mattered and the big labels actually, you had multiple genre driven radio stations where basically you had all the music was on the radio, and rock and roll might have had 2 or 3 stations, meaning today's rock and roll, not classical.
Yeah.
DJs could play. They used to go to the room and pull out the records and set up their shift for their playlist for that, that shift, or they'd bring out, something different. They change it up. They had some sort of control. They had the parameters, but there was a time when you could actually call in and say, hey, can I any chance of hearing, whatever? Yeah, spin it.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, it's already set up in the computer, and they're just following, clicking buttons now. It's other than if they have like some kind of special lunch request thing, but it's
right. They have to set their time aside for the special request part, and even that you don't really. Because I called in like the other day and I wanted to hear something. I can't remember what it was, and they were like, "Yeah, we'll get to it," and I never heard it. Never.
Yeah.
Never heard it.
The radio station up here, the classic rock station, they do mandatory Metallica every day at 5:00, and it's Enter Sandman, Fade to Black, Nothing Else Matters.
Yeah.
Every day.
So it's insulting, is what it is. But that's what music's become, and that's why I was the same guy 4 years ago, 5 years ago, stuck in that rut. Long short, met the kid, started to recognize new music and fell in love with it, and saw just how bad it was, and this is what led to this right here.
That's great.
Actually, it hurts me to see the same passion which you guys have as every kid or band that I ever heard growing up, from way back in the 70s. The bands that we call legends now, when they were nobodies, it still exists.
Yeah.
But I think, and maybe I'll ask your opinion, I think you're not going to turn the classic rock crowd. It is what it is, and if we can win a few over, great. But we need the kids back. And I don't mean as artists. They're out there. There's plenty of young bands.
Yes.
It's amazing how many I found just through trial and error to find music for KRA, and you guys too. You're all out there. I want to know where the rock community is.
I do too.
Yeah, we need to all work together, and this is something that certain pivotal and powerful people in the rock community need to, even if they gave us 5 minutes a week, to recognize good new rock and roll, not the stuff that's on Billboard.
Yeah.
I don't want to upset people and say, what's on the rock charts right now, but it's not rock.
It's not. It's nowhere close to rock. And I think that you're right, because the passion, right, hasn't changed. It's just new faces and new music, right? But the passion is the same, right? Can you imagine like Queen never being discovered because the music industry has changed, right? Where they don't even get a voice anymore. Can you imagine? And there's plenty of good bands who could become the next Queen or become the next Aerosmith or become the next Stones or the next, right? Why not? But they're not getting a chance because the record industry doesn't want to give bands a chance anymore, because they don't want to give rock a chance anymore. And I don't know what happened. It's just the same way like MTV doesn't play videos anymore. Like, what is that? It's the same. It's all
YouTube.
It's all changed, and it's changed, in my opinion, for the worse. And I don't know how Rye feels about it, but that's how I feel.
Well, being in indie world, when it comes to indie radio and whatnot over the last year, I'm really surprised how much more rock there is out there. I would have never guessed there was such a big there's a bunch of new metal, classic metal, hard rock, regular rock and roll that I never knew even existed. So I'm glad that we wound up here, just because there's a bigger voice than I thought there was, where you guys were just saying, you know, it's controlled, and it is, but it's far bigger than I would have ever guessed a year ago if you were to ask me.
Because more and more people, and this is what I try to tell everybody, is every time I get into these discussions with, like, just say the regular person on Keep Rock Alive, where they say, I blame the record industry and I blame mainstream radio, and stop.
Yeah.
Forget it, it's over. Don't look to them. They're done with us. Now we got to do it on our own. And once you get over that hump and everybody starts thinking that way,
Yeah.
now you make progress. Now we're all working together again. And when I say working together, I mean anybody that wants to help promote, anybody, you know, the regular fan, just passing the music around and telling their friends. And another thing, bands in general, I tell them it's not a competition anymore, or it should never be a competition. Rock and roll should be a family, but work together. Don't try to, you know, get more sales than the other band or whatever, because look at it this way. If you guys got 1,000 fans and they got 1,000 fans, and you bring them all in the same place, and now 2,000 people get together and hear both of you, now you both have 2,000 fans. You have to start thinking that way. Because
that's a good way.
Yeah.
And my point again is nobody else is going to do it. The record industry is not going to reach in. They're not going to say, oh, you know, let's give them a leg up. They don't care. They want money. And what you're saying about, you know, why do they keep signing or, you know, playing these guys or force feeding this? It's instant gratification. They want to be able to, if they sign a record deal with somebody, they want to hit the ground running, that they can record, sell it, and back that up with a tour, which is where they make money now because they don't make money the old way, you know, through the record sales, the physical record sales. You know, because the record industry was massive at one point when everything was done in house, where right from discovering the band, recording the band, to the artwork on the album, all of it, everything was in house. And you had everybody working there, lawyers, bookkeepers, guys packing the, you know, all of it, right to loading it in the truck. They controlled everything. That's all gone now because of the digital age. It basically just floats around in ones and zeros. Really, that's what it comes down to.
I know.
You have to adapt and adjust. But the bottom line is, write the music.
That is the bottom line. It's the songs, right? Even if you write one song a month, it's still about the songs.
It's better to have, I mean, no matter what, again, especially if you're never going to fool a rock fan. Again, another thing I just keep repeating. And the music better be, you know, good, whatever good is, or what people are going to enjoy or fall in love with, or makes them say, damn, that's me, you know. Or, you know, I use the other thing, that's the middle finger. Yeah. You know, where's our next fight song, our next anthem? We haven't had that.
We've been discussing like about anthems and things that people can relate to. We always try to think about things when we write about relatability, because people want to be, you know, oh yeah, I remember that, or I you know, I remember feeling like that, you know, or I remember. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Relatability is a big key in writing songs.
Yep. I mean, songs you grew up with, right? You know, that make you think of when, you know, whenever, or you go to any sporting event, or music there that's been played for 30, 40 years. You know, those are the anthems, and you know, that each one of those songs has a meaning. So, and why can't it be you? And I say that to everyone.
Yeah, why can't it be us?
Why can't it be you?
Yeah, why?
There's nothing stopping you. And the other thing, what's the worst that could happen? Nothing. Okay.
Exactly.
Well,
we wish something good would come out of it, but if nothing happens, then nothing happens. But you know, we're still going to keep pressing on and keep writing more songs and keep pushing forward.
Yeah, you write a song, write the music. I'm not telling you but write the music that makes you guys happy, that you think is going to make other people happy.
Exactly.
I have no idea. Like I say, that's your job. I just play it. I work the counter. You guys are in the back.
Yeah, we're in the back creating the mess.
Making the brisket. I just serve it. All right.
Now
So
you're making me hungry for brisket now.
I'm starving ever since you said that. So I'm going to ask you guys a couple of questions because the new thing is I try to ask silly questions at the end. So
Okay.
I'm going to do you're the polisher. All right, I got one for you.
Okay.
If you could write with anyone, who would you want to collaborate with, living or dead?
Oh my gosh. So we just discussed this yesterday, right? Do you remember? I
No,
said
I don't remember.
really? I said if I could write with anyone right now, it would be David Grohl. Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters. I think he's really on the ball right now. And he knows how to write a good song and a good hit and he has it down where his hooks are great to me. And he's still alive, and I would love to write a song or collaborate with Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters.
Okay, now I got one for Rye because he's the old school rock guy. You get to co-headline with any band ever for a North American tour. Who is?
Oh, this is exciting. Do I get to sing too? So Suzanne has to sit down for a while?
Whatever you want to do.
Okay, now you're going to have to sing, Suzanne.
But it should be the Metal Byrds.
I'm going to open, we're going to open for Kiss, who opens for the Rolling Stones, so then I can watch both their sets and party with them afterwards.
I knew it. I was close to, but I knew what type of answer it would be.
Oh yeah, that's a good answer.
The classic rock is just hooked in my brain. I cannot escape it.
You're hardwired, period. You're like
hardwired, yeah.
You're the guidance computer on the Apollo 11 that was just programmed to do one thing.
Oh yeah.
Now the same song for both of you. What's your favorite Metal Byrds song?
Ooh. You go, Rye.
Machine Man, because it's been the funnest opener and we've had it forever and it took forever for us to actually record it. But that song, we can put a double solo at the end of it. Suzanne just nails it every time. Everyone just rocks. It's a headbanging song. Well, Suze?
Oh, only one song?
Which one comes to mind first?
Well, right now, I would have to say the Ganges because it is, again, a headbanger of a song. I love it. It's short, it's fast, it's to the point. I absolutely love the Ganges. And then my second song would be Dark Highway. That song, it has a piece of my heart. I love that song. So both, it's hard to pick between those two, but
that's all right. You can have two equal.
Okay, Dark Highway. I was thinking the same thing. That one has the most emotional impact for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
That middle solo double.
That's the song that's got the in quotes. That's the song. The song.
It's the song. I love Dark Highway.
Is there anything else you guys want to add? Anything, any news and anything you want to plug?
No, well, we're gonna be releasing a new single pretty soon on December 13th. I'm sorry, December 13th. We're gonna be releasing the last song off our EP, Life in 20. It's called Impossible. So everybody
all remastered, all retooled.
Yes. All remastered.
We have a whole new crew that reached out to us from over in the Los Angeles area and said, we will help you. We want credit for helping you. So, but what they've sent us sounds great.
Yeah.
And they're helping with arrangement for all these new recordings we're going to make.
Yeah.
And they're just on top of it. They're fantastic collective.
Yeah, they're a really good producing team. So we decided to release Impossible their version of Impossible. So yes, be on the lookout for Impossible on December 13th.
We'll have it.
Yeah.
And just in case, remind me.
Of course.
Don't be afraid to blow up the DMs.
Of course we will. And I just want to say thanks for supporting indie music, you know, because like you said, the passion is still there. All of the bands have the passion, and we just want to be heard. That's all. So, you know, continue to support indie music. And that's it.
And rock music. Rock music.
Yes.
And keep rock.
Rock not dead.
Alive.
Keep rock alive.
It's that easy.
It's that easy.
It's that, you're right. It's that easy. That's the missionary mission. It's to keep rock alive and spread
rock
it.
alive.
Just listen.
That's all you got to do is listen.
I can't ask for any less. It's so simple. And even if you don't like it, tell us.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
That's all you got to do. Just tell us. And, you know, there might be one song you hate. What might be one song that you absolutely love and be your new favorite song. You don't know. Just keep listening.
You got to hear it. Don't tell me you don't like that and you never tasted it before.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's why we have to keep rock alive. Yes.
Oh, this was fun.
This was awesome.
It totally was fun. I would not mind doing this again at all, anytime.
I tell everybody that all of you right now are still guinea pigs. I still have no friggin' idea what I'm doing.
Well, whatever you're doing a great job. So
everything we do, or everything we, when I say we, is me. Anything I try here is the seat of our pants. If it works, I mark it down. Okay, that worked. If it crashes and burns, don't do that again.
Well, we'll be your guinea pigs anytime because this is really fun.
It is, and I mean, anytime you guys want to do it, and again, I keep this now, and I want people to know this. This is like an open kind of forum. Not only do we not have any real structure than the basics and then just talk and whatever comes of it. If someone has something special going on and wants to use it, tell me. There's no like invite. It's an open invite to everyone. That's the way I can say it.
Yeah,
because it's a keep rock alive family.
Yes.
All the time, rock and roll is family. And it's
rock and roll is
family. I mean, all the way back to the 50s. It's all the same family. Rock, metal, punk, all of it, every little subgenre of a subgenre of a subgenre is all the same family.
It is.
I don't want to have those arguments anymore. It happens a lot. Where guys, we're metal. You know, it's not rock. No,
it's still rock.
It's all rock and roll.
It's all rock and roll.
Yeah. None of it would be here. You know,
exactly.
And that's it. Just you're the they want to be so different. You're our 17th cousins, but you're still related to us.
Exactly. You're still all the same last name, right?
No matter what you do. Hey guys, but I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
That was great.
And like I said, I'll keep in touch and we'll take something out of this. And when you're done, go over it. And if there's something you like I said, we'll take it and we'll run some clips, use it for whatever you can. That's the idea.
Mike, thank you for having us. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate
it.
Thank you. All right. I'll see you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Suzanne. Be good.
You too.
Bye.